Tom.
Brandon.
I say this with all sincerity. Okay. I played football this weekend. Played a little pickup football this weekend.
Okay. All right.
And, you know,
I don't.
maybe scored a couple touchdowns, but after covering multiple different players this weekend, me playing corner, I can confidently say I am no longer confident in my ability to hold you to 0 catches.
You know,
my body's feeling old. I felt like I was getting worked. I don't have any speed anymore. And I'm like, I was literally watching a guy like run past me going, I don't think I can do 10 for 10 with the off. Yeah. I'm still gonna try, but
try.
I'm gonna if there's a bet available, I'm betting on you.
Oh, okay. So that's where we're at. So you did that on Saturday?
Yes.
Yeah. I went to go do a 6 or 7 mile hike on Saturday and got lost in the woods. Wound up doing an 11-mile hike, coming out in the town over and having to Uber back to my car. So, yeah.
So
we both went through it, buddy.
We're doing all right.
We're doing all right. We're doing all right here.
All right. Week 5. Here we come, baby. Can't get it.
We here.
We steer.
You in the right direction. Welcome to another edition of the Grossi Perna Show. I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna. This is GPS. And for the first time, I sound like a man.
There you go. What?
Yeah, I got like no sleep. I got worked yesterday, buddy.
Yeah.
I got with that. The starting at 9:30 in the morning. I was like, all right, let's just do 3 hours of football. Let's rock. That game wasn't that great. Then the Packers game. And then to stream that Steelers-Cowboys game till 1 o'clock in the morning. Oh. And it was not good until the very end. Good God. It was a time. But we here, week 5 has come and gone. We'll got one more game tonight. But this, as the title indicates, may have been the craziest week yet. And while my pick'ems did better this week, still, the parity in the NFL is at an all-time high.
Yeah, man, it is. I don't know what to make of it. I'm scared for the Bills. Very scared for the Bills. I think the Broncos are actually pretty freaking good. Caleb Williams playing well. Had his best game, albeit against the Panthers. My favorite stat, though, is there's one stat, and I don't know if this can ever happen again, which makes it just poetic. And that's Dak Prescott becoming the first quarterback in NFL history, Tom, to throw 2 interceptions in the same game on 2 different days. Because that game went so long that they crossed over into Monday.
Yes, they did. Monday
Dak threw a Sunday interception and a Monday interception in the same game. And I think he is going to own that record until the day he dies in 2084.
Did you just predict Dak's death date?
Just the year, not specific date. 2084.
So 60 years from now.
Yeah, he'll have lived a long, strong, healthy life.
Okay.
Actually, by that time, that's going to be a short lifespan because AI and medical advances will allow people to live as long as they want.
He'll be put behind a paywall.
Dak's going to choose to leave. He's going to be like, I've seen enough of this world.
You know what? Jordan Love's interception yesterday, if I removed myself from being a Packers fan, was pretty damn funny. I don't want to get a safety. Let me just throw this up. It's to the opposing team.
Yeah,
it's a touchdown.
That's going in the flop 10.
Wasn't the best. Wasn't the best interception. And yeah, we'll talk about the Packers. I want to talk about the Broncos because the Broncos Oh, boy. Look at that. Ending the streak. Finally. Beating the Raiders. Bo Nix, pretty good. Patrick Surtain, very good. The throwbacks.
Yeah, so there's so much to get to here. So much to talk about.
So sexy.
Oh, Tommy.
We got one.
Where do I start?
Oh, buddy. First of all, I love how they did a promo for those throwbacks. And you know what? Rightfully so. Because it was those are really, really nice unis.
Yeah.
And, heading into this game, I'm sure there was an okay amount of confidence. But there's always
I had a lot of confidence.
You got a lot of confidence. Okay. All right. So this is going to get into dangerous territories now because now you've been self-affirmed.
Well,
okay.
I had a lot of confidence because Devontae Adams was not playing. And the Raiders' offense is not good. Without him, they are worse. They can't run the football.
No.
Our defense is our strength in Denver. And Max Crosby was a little hurt coming into this game. He still played pretty well. He's still just a nightmare. But
stay safe, folks.
I was confident. First quarter, though, was not good for the Broncos. I was losing confidence through the first quarter. Luckily, the Raiders were they only played for one quarter,
Pretty damn good.
And the uniforms, ending the streak against the Raiders in those throwback uniforms was just as perfect as it could be. Like if you're a fan, right? Like you're excited, you get to see these uniforms, you love them. You got this horrible, stupid ass streak against the Raiders, who, mind you, like unlike the Chiefs streak where they beat the Broncos, 16 or 17 straight times or whatever.
Yeah,
the Chiefs were very good. The Raiders in average at best in that window. So that's why this was important. I think people want these uniforms to be the permanent uniforms. And
they should be.
Kyle Brandt this morning on Good Morning Football, just being a curmudgeon. A man whose takes I used to appreciate, to like. But now Kyle's trying a little too hard to stay ahead of the curve. And he is saying, no, you don't make these the permanent uniforms. You like them because it stirs this feeling of nostalgia. Wrong, Kyle. Fucking wrong, my friend. These are just superior uniforms. They are better uniforms than what the Broncos have. They're arguably top 3 uniforms in the entire NFL. I mean, it was hard because the Falcons uniforms on Thursday, those are cherry too.
Yeah, it was good.
So shut up, Kyle. You're wrong. These should be made the permanent uniforms. And anybody who says something different than that, you are dead to me. So you thought calling Russell Wilson a poser crossed the line? Don't care about that anymore. Don't you dare ever say those uniforms shouldn't be permanent. But really, Jordan Love had the bad interception. We had something even better. Our center thought Bo Nix was in shotgun, but he wasn't, Tom. He was not in shotgun.
No, you mean you thought that he was not in shotgun.
Oh, sorry. He thought he was under the center, but he was in shotgun.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a long night for me, too. Oh.
I saw you got the new.
I got it up.
It's just the new.
It's the new best game, really.
Happy GPS.
But, dude, Pat Surtain's his pick six, it wasn't just cool because it was a 100-yard pick six. It changed, the game.
Yeah.
The Raiders were about to go up 17-3. That was a 10-point swing. He had 2 picks in the game. Riley Moss got his first interception. And Bo Nix, after a slow start, finished pretty strong. So I still don't know who Bo Nix is quite yet. But the thing that gives me confidence about Bo, and I talked about this a lot, it's that he got in Sean Payton's face. I'm sure you saw the clip of him yelling back at Sean. And I'm not being facetious. I was legitimately impressed by that. I'm like, this dude And it's not because he yelled at his coach. That's not something you necessarily want to do or be highlighted for. But Sean's a demanding guy. And they said it during the broadcast that like Drew Brees told Bo Nix or told I don't know who he told, but he's like, you've got to push back on Sean. Like he's going to be demanding and ask a lot of you. And you've got to throw that back at him to kind of balance things out and have the confidence to do so. And like, to see a rookie do that and to watch like Russ kind of cower to Sean last year in similar situations or just be like shocked, like it was refreshing. So
yeah. Well, because there's like that power dynamic already, right? Because of the rookie QB and who Sean Payton is. Yeah. So anytime that you see it's like, oh, you're expecting Bo Nix. I don't want to be like this like subservient kind of thing, but it's like, oh, there's obviously this dynamic here, and it's I'd say less of a collaboration or an anticipated collaboration and more of like, hey, I tell you what to do, like go and run this just because I have all this experience, right? And he's a rookie QB. So to see that, you're like, oh, maybe we got some progress going on. Like, okay, start to feel confident in what he's saying. If he's standing up and like saying it with his chest, like, let's rock.
Yeah, it's 10. And it, like for the guy who gets ready for the game by listening to his Christian worship music, you would not expect him to be getting in his coach's face.
My boy's listening to Psalms or something. Yeah. He was ready.
And to be fair to Bo Nix, since there was that extended pregame for Cowboys Steelers, since that weather delay, I don't even know who they were talking to on the Steelers because I was editing. But there was a Steelers player also saying he listens to worship music before the game to get in the right mindset. I was like, oh no, now it's making my take look even worse. I'm looking like Kyle Brandt now. Oh hey, no.
But you know what? You're making your worship music, and Bo Nix won. Coincidence?
Yeah. I'll give him his respect by.
I think what you need to do is you need to make sure that Bo Nix finds a way to discover your song. If he can add it into the shuffle to the pregame mix, then you will have officially made it.
He's got to play it for the whole locker room. That's my thought.
That's right.
That's my thought.
Listen, we'll both have music go for teams. You got your worship song. It's gonna go for the Broncos. We got the Stroud's theme that we're trying to go for the Texans. We're gonna make it happen.
Hell yeah.
NFC North, baby. Yeah, NFC North. Lions, not a great bye week for you. You go out a bye and everybody wins. Yeah, Caleb Williams looks pretty good. It is against the Panthers, but defense still good. Caleb Williams has his best game yet, I would argue. And I've said this past 3 weeks, right? You have the Colts game where he looks good in the fourth quarter. Last week he played well. And then you have this week, you're just seeing progress. And this is what you want to see is go. Swift is starting to be more involved in the game plan a bit more. And yeah, they're starting to hum a little bit. Again, it's still against Panthers. You want to see, better opponents, but Panthers, I'm just so sorry, man, because you're just the afterthought in this conversation. Because it's like, look how good Caleb looked and DJ Moore, and he scored all those touchdowns. And Panthers are just like, we could have had it all.
I know.
Could have had it all.
A real nice revenge game for DJ Moore. But, and I was just putting this in winners and losers. Like DJ Moore had 105 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
Darnell Mooney, former Chicago Bears receiver, had 105 yards and 2 touchdowns. Exactly. So, for receivers, it's like we talk a lot about like quarterbacks and coaching fits, right? It's like receiver and QB fits too are also important. And it's usually just means you need a good quarterback, get you the ball consistently. And you saw that with Mooney. You see it with DJ's starting to get work in there. And the Panthers might be pretty bad. I put them really high power list rankings, and they let me down. A lot of the teams I had at the bottom got wins this week, so that they look silly now. And now the Patriots are talking about maybe starting Drake May soon.
I picked it right. I picked the Dolphins to get a win, and it was an ugly ass football game, bro. Yeah,
that was probably the real worst game of the week.
They can't effing hear, baby.
No, they can't understand, I think is what he said. They can't understand you. But guess what, Max? They understand what a victory tastes like.
That's right. We'll talk about that game. Speaking of the NFC North, just to kind of close out, we had the Vikings defeating Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, and the Jets offense just looked. Aaron Rodgers had 60,000 yards, so that's impressive. But man, the O-line not good. Rodgers didn't look good. Everything they have no run game. Everything was just the Vikings. Kudos to them, man. Like, defense played really, really well. Darnold did not have his best game, and it was a lot of like, hey, let's just get the ball to Justin Jefferson, which works. Aaron Jones got hurt too. He got a hip injury. In that game. But right now, Vikings 5-0. Can't argue with that result. And Rodgers and the Jets kind of like, cool. All right, so when is this going to be a little bit more consistent?
Yeah, they look like a team that desperately needs one Devontae Adams services. And according to Ian Rappaport, there's a good chance that happens. But also the Saints have been the most aggressive in talking to the Raiders about a Devontae Adams trade. So we'll see where that shakes out. I think they need him. That is evident and clear. But I think the bigger issue, you talk about the run game, not really being there for him yet. I think that's a Rodgers problem. So Rodgers had some late career success, a little bit of a resurgence, right? Because of him and LaFleur.
Yeah, wins back-to-back MVPs, yep.
Right? Where not necessarily the same philosophical approach.
Correct.
To an offense, running an offense. But Rodgers bought into the way that Matt LaFleur kind of wanted to do things. I think he had Hackett there as the buffer between the two. It was harmonious between those three for a little while. Now in New York, it's Rodgers calling the shots. Hackett's going to do whatever Rodgers wants. So there's not like and Robert Saleh doesn't know what the fuck the offense is doing. He's a defensive guy. He has no clue what the offense.
Nathaniel Hackett though,
on a play-to-play basis. So it's Rodgers and Hackett, which means Rodgers has free reign. That's why he threw 50 plus times in that game, right? 50 plus times in a close game. You can't get the run game going. Last year in Tampa, last 2 years in Tampa, without Bruce Arians there, actually helping call the plays and run the offense, Brady was throwing over 700 times in the season, not doing their offense any favor. So you need, if you're like, even those great quarterbacks, they need somebody there to kind of challenge some of the things they want to do during a game, because then I think those quarterbacks are always going to think, oh yeah, we'll make a play with the ball in my hand. I will put this ball through the air in the best position for our team to win.
Sure.
And to the Jets' credit, they had chances late. Darnold throws a bad interception late in the fourth quarter, but there's no checks and balances there. There's no checks and balances, Tom. And in an election year, you need checks and balances.
And through his 5th career pick 6, which you don't see that every day.
No.
That does not happen very often.
First time he threw 2 picks against the Vikings, I think, in the same game.
Which is wild, by the way. That's a wild stat. Yeah. Hey, Juicy, happy birthday. I don't know if I can make a mango reference. That's kind of out there, but I hope you have a fantastic day. Let's go. Oh, we'll talk about the Giants, too.
What's a mango reference?
Talking about the Packers, the last NFC North team, had to make it interesting. Had to make it go down to the end. First half, first of all, Jordan Love and Jaden Reed. Did you see that throw and that catch where it's basically triple coverage and it is dropped perfectly into Jaden Reed's hands? And Jaden Reed is able, bro, to start that was one of the craziest freaking plays. Amazing pass to Jaden Reed. Score, the drive's looking good. They really don't do much the rest of the first half. It's kind of like, oh, this might be a little bit of a long day. And it seems like the Packers are just going to be starting slow again. And again, just got Love back. It's his 2nd week back.
Oh. I just watched it. Dear God.
Right, dude, insanity. Because he threw that ball and I was like, oh, that's an interception. What are we doing? And it's just perfect. Jaden Reed then drops an easy ball. And I was like, yep, that's just where we're at right now. It's just, we just got to get that consistency. Sacked Stafford 3 times. But I want to talk about one man. Speaking of the Giants, Xavier McKinney not only had a fumble recovery, his 5th interception. 5 in 5 weeks. He has more interceptions than 28 other teams. That's how good Xavier McKinney is right now. He is that guy.
Yeah.
That guy.
I think it's his sixth straight game with a pick because he had one for the Giants last year.
Bro.
At the end of the.
He doesn't need to be there anymore. It's fine. We don't need to mention them ever again.
Yeah, no, we're gonna mention that.
I did, but I'm so happy that we got him. Pass rush, definitely want to clean some things up. I think we sacked Stafford 3 times. Love has that bad interception where he gets hit in the end zone. He's trying to avoid a safety, and then just Brett Favre's. It's just like, and then, plays you would see work for Patrick Mahomes. This just turns into a pick 6. But overall, I think the defense did a pretty nice job. Kyren Williams was good. He's just a good running back. But it got interesting at the end. But once they find that rhythm and find their footing, I think that this team's going to be pretty good. Again, no Jair Alexander. Romeo Doubs, I don't know how much you've heard about the Romeo Doubs thing. This happened over the weekend, and this kind of happened a little bit after GPS, a little bit during. So basically, just to summarize here, so what happened was Romeo Doubs showed up on Wednesday to practice. Sources say, again, we haven't heard from him or sources close to him, but sources say that he was not happy with the install. No Christian Watson for this weekend, wanted to get some reps. Didn't show up to practice on Thursday. Didn't show up to practice on Friday. They sent team officials to his place to be like, hey, are you good? And that's why I was very hesitant on commenting of oh, I don't know if this is a mental health thing, what's going on. And then the team suspended him for a week and expects him back in practice this week. So it seems like, again, just from everything being said, he wasn't happy with the opportunities he was getting, which was weird because, one, Romeo in every interview he's ever given doesn't really seem like that person, but regardless. And then 2, he was second in targets on the team. So it was very weird. So I'm hoping that this was just hey, young team, let emotions get the best of you. Jair Alexander went out last year to Carolina and did the coin flip when he was not supposed to, and he was not a team captain. He got suspended for a week. And it's kind of this balance where the Packers, and
Wait, when was Jair out?
Last year.
Last year he got suspended for a
last
week?
year he got suspended for a game. And all the media was like, has LaFleur lost the locker room and stuff and now things are fine, right? So I'm hoping it's one of those scenarios, early in the year, we get back to where we need to get back to and we get Romeo back this week.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, it's a weird situation. Fair. You don't see that very often.
No, and again, it was weird coming from him on this team, but the Packers... This is why this was such an interest. I'd love to do a video about this one day because we talk about Aaron Rodgers' tenure with the Packers. Mm-hmm. And by the end, before LaFleur got there, it was very much the Aaron Rodgers show. And I think you can make a really strong argument that Rodgers surpassed the team. In which, it was oh, Aaron Rodgers coming out comments saying people are coming here to play with me and all this great stuff. And when LaFleur came in, there was definitely that little bit of a pushback. All right, a lot of McCarthy scheme. And then once, he bought into it, they drafted Love. That's when Rodgers has his back-to-back MVP years. But the Packers, especially under LaFleur, and traditionally, they're hey, nobody's bigger than this team. So we might need you. They could have used Romeo Doubs yesterday, 100%. Yeah. But nobody's larger than the team. And there you go. So, oh yeah, no, they get to be called the New York Giants this week, 100%.
Dude, yeah, the Seahawks. What did you do? What'd you do, Seattle?
NFC West, bro. Just insanity.
God, that division is stupid. It's like the opposite of the North divisions right now.
Speak up.
It's just nobody wants it. Nobody wants the West.
Yeah. Good God. Yeah. Kirk Cousins, man. 509 yards. I'll do it. Joe Burrow.
Still crazy. I feel like Kirk Cousins opened up the door for everybody to go out and pass again. Thank you, Kirk. We love you, Kirk.
Oh, they never won a Super Bowl until they got rid of those unis.
Guess what? Shut up.
All right, there you go.
No, but that does not translate to football. Uniforms have nothing to do with it. The only real curse is the wheel, and you know it.
Excuse me. So during that game last night, that was long and arduous. I was like, all right, because Papa Grossi was here. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go pee. I come back and Dak literally the first throws an interception. And I just sit there. My dad, he's got pissed. He was upset.
that his Monday interception or Sunday interception?
I think it might have been a Monday interception. And I'm sitting there and I was like, oh my God, I just peed for the D. Art. I want to talk about there's so many crazy games. I want to talk about this Bengals-Ravens game, or Ravens-Bengals, I should say.
Yeah, that game was drunk AF,
Dude,
my friend.
Both QBs lighting it up. And what I said about Joe Burrow and the Bengals is that if they had gotten off to a hotter start and like won the game against the Patriots, let's say.
Yeah.
I think heading into week 6, the Bengals are feeling pretty damn good. Because they're like, okay, you know what?
Sure.
We just went like toe-to-toe with the Ravens, who just blew out the Bills. You know, they're looking really good. The offense was clicking. Joe Burrow had a phenomenal game. But the problem is because they had that slow start, now it's like, no, we don't have time for moral victories. We need to like look at our record and be like, okay, like this, we got to win like almost all of our games now. And they have to play like that kind of perfect football where their defense is not where it should be, right? Chase Brown looked good. I like Chase Brown. Maybe the run game could get a little bit better, but that defense is not looking great. No. But you want to feel that optimism, but now it's like, okay, this is a pretty significant hole that they've dug themselves into.
Yeah, they were up by, I think they were up by 10 when Lamar, like the I think he's in shotgun. The snaps fumbled. Lamar picked it up. He rolls out to his left. He's all the way to the sideline, and then he throws a touchdown in the back of the end zone. The Bengals get a stop there. They probably win that game. And, then it goes into overtime, and then Derrick Henry finally rips off another big run to set up the game-winning field goal. But what was, like, interesting to me is go back to a week prior, right? The Ravens look like they have figured everything out. They look like the most complete team in football. They shut down the Buffalo Bills offense. You're like, okay, their defense is very good. They can run the piss out of the football. And we know Lamar Jackson is a good quarterback, and he really can do it all. So, like, what are you going to do to stop him? Well, the Bengals proved that maybe their defense is not perfect, especially when you've got a guy like Jamar Chase, who was just
ripping it, dude.
Just insane in this game. Almost 200 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. Joe Burrow throws 5 touchdowns against the Ravens defense, and they still lose the game. And to your point, it's because the Bengals defense is not good.
It's poo-poo caca.
You needed one more stop in a game. You got to be average, and now they are going to. It's going to take a miracle for the Bengals to get into the playoffs, and it's unfortunate because it's starting to feel like they're a pretty good team, but they've lost. Is it 3? Yeah, 3
head coaching again. Too.
The last 3 of 4 games, they got to win in there, but they have been so close. Going to the Chiefs game, they were so close.
Mm-hmm.
But they couldn't do it. And this game, it's a tragedy.
It's just looking at, they're also in the AFC North, which just, they cannibalize each other. They're in the AFC, which is usually pretty damn competitive. And they're sitting at 1-4. So again, like, this offense can look amazing. It could go out there every single time. But if they face a good offense like the Ravens showed up yesterday, it's going to be tough. And so now what can they, 2 games? I think they could afford to lose, maybe, and still like have a shot. And again, it's week 5, so playoffs are far away right now. But when you're talking about a 1-4 start, I mean, right now they got the Giants next. That's Sunday Night Football. Who the hell knows what that game's going to be like? They got Cleveland. They got the Eagles. That's an interesting game. They got the Ravens again coming up. They still got to play the Cowboys. They got to go against the Steelers. Like, it's not going to be the easiest stretch. And if you only have like a 2-game leeway, not going to be easy, my friends.
And what I like, okay. 1, I think maybe Lamar Jackson might be able to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs now. I might be able to forgive him for his sins against humanity.
I don't know, man. They look real good in the regular season too.
I know that. But here's what I love. This is what I loved about this game, right? Burrow throws 5 touchdowns. Lamar Jackson throws 4. The last 2 weeks for the Ravens prior to this, it's Derrick Henry, 24 carries, 25 carries. We're talking about the Ravens just run the hell out of the football, and everything's going to be groovy. Lamar comes out. He throws for 348 yards and 4 touchdowns in this game. that's could be the key for the Ravens. Like, they can execute two very different offensive game plans. They can adjust in a game to, if the run's working, they can literally run the ball 30 or 40 times and beat you. And they can go out and have Lamar throw it 42 times and beat you. So if they can stay consistent there, they can stay healthy. Like, they're dynamic.
Hell of a game, sir. Hell of a game.
So it's, I just think, Lamar Jackson deserves a ton of credit for his performance in that game. After we're like, just give the ball to Derrick Henry 100 times a game and you'll be fine.
You're fine.
Lamar's like, don't forget about me, guys.
That's it. He is amazing. You got a tick there? What's going on?
No, this? I got stung by a hornet or something last week, and it just won't stop itching.
Oh, yeah, where's the bathroom, buddy? Just looking, is it that way? Just want to see where that
fucking was annoying.
Let's make sure you didn't get a tick bite or something, so make sure.
Probably bed bugs.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah. So Bengals, there's concern. Again, there's optimism about the offense, but the defense is not good. And that's what I highlighted, going into heading into this offseason. I was like, I'm worried about their run game. And I'm worried about their secondary. And again, I don't think their defense got better. And it has not looked good.
No, it did not.
There's concern there. And the Ravens now, with a Steelers loss, are now sitting atop the AFC North as the Steelers losing a
winnable game
breaker of a Monday game. TJ Watt was great, man. And Pablo Grossi's sitting here and they get that touchdown. He's like, I gotta be honest with you, I did not think they were gonna get that. He goes, I thought this was going to be ending in very disappointing fashion. Very disappointing. And again, you look at that game. I know we're bouncing around. We have other games to talk about. But jumping to that Sunday night game for a hot second, like, it played out the way I figured it was going to play out. It was a low-scoring game. Both offenses have not been great. You had no Micah Parsons for the Cowboys. And I don't know, man. It was a rough, defensive-minded, but also bad offenses kind of game. Yeah. And it was sloppy because it was wet. It was a rough time. And I don't know if I feel particularly good about the Cowboys. Hey, it's a big away win, like on the road. They needed that win 100%. I don't know how good I feel about them. You look at the NFC East right now, and it's very weird.
It's Washington and then everyone else now with the Giants getting a win.
Bro.
Everyone else. Yeah, the Niners, they're a weird team.
Yeah,
I don't know what the hell's going on with them.
But the Steelers,
they didn't score any points in the second half, the Niners.
Yeah.
First time with Purdy, I believe.
Oh my God, dude. It was
Jacubus.
Two of the biggest surprises. They were saying, like, what was the biggest upset? The Cardinals against 49ers or the Giants Seahawks? I would say it's Giants Seahawks.
Yeah.
I got a lot. Because the Cardinals, you're like, all right, they'll be competitive. It's a division match, what have you. Maybe, they can make something happen. The 49ers are injured. And listen, Cardinals won. We'll talk about that. But the Giants, to go in, and especially after I was so high on the Seahawks. They had that amazing game with the Lions. Yeah. They're going toe-to-toe. And I know that they got a lot of people out. But that D-line of the Giants dominated that game and really the offensive line wasn't good last week for the Seahawks, but it is abysmal. Geno Smith under constant barrage. It was bad. And now, running back field goals for touchdown. Bro, what are we doing out here? Giants. Got my respect this week because I thought they would have been dead. Playing in Seattle, I didn't think they had a shot. This is the one game I was very confident. I was like, I don't think they're winning. So,
yeah, I mean, like, what was cool for the Giants is Devin Singletary not playing, Malik Neighbors not playing.
Nope.
And running back Tyrone Tracy really steps up. And he's a guy, if you watch the Giants this season, you saw him make a few plays. There's usually like some like quick passes out of the backfield. And you could just see some like explosiveness in his game. But he had 129 rushing yards on just 18 carries. And Darius Slayton steps the hell up in place of Malik Neighbors. And we've seen Slayton do it throughout his career. Like he's had big games. but you lose like one of the most exciting rookies. He gets a $122 and a touchdown. So two guys like really stepped up for the Giants, and Dan Jones didn't throw interceptions. We're not talking about him missing opportunities. He just played a solid game. And yeah, it surprised me. In that game, that was one of the afternoon games, right? Giants Seahawks, was that in the afternoon?
No, they were both afternoons games. Yeah,
because like I didn't get to see any of it because I was doing Broncos. So it was like
they both had blocked field goals returned for touchdowns in those games. Like what?
What was the other game that had it?
The 49ers Cardinals. Yeah. It was a 61-yard return.
And what's you said you weren't surprised like the Cardinals got the win, and that's because we saw the Cardinals have like a very dominant win this season.
Sure.
They beat the piss out of the Rams. So you've seen them do it once, and if they can do it once, you think they can do it again. We haven't seen the Giants like really put together a really good game for a while. And I don't even know if this was a really good game.
Yeah, the Neighbors game, but then it was like, okay, their offense is going to run through Neighbors, and Neighbors not being here and playing in Seattle. You're like, oh, okay, it's not going to go so well. Bro. And again, Daniel Jones, I mean, I want to get out of his exact stats here. 23 for 34, 257, 2 touchdowns, a sack 3 times, 0 interceptions. That's what you want to see out of Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Like, he had a nice game. You know, the offense was efficient. And considering what they were able to do, minus all of their weapons, they had 175 rushing yards. And again, you look at the D-line right now, the Seahawks, it's beat to hell. I do think the Seahawks will be better. I just did not anticipate them losing this game. And the Seahawks almost came back. Like, they almost came back, and they had chances to win this game.
Yeah.
Devontae, I think, is a little bit more regretful than Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers was just done. But
yeah. If you hold Kenneth Walker to 19 rushing yards, why he only had 5 carries, I don't know. No clue. Kenneth Walker is the key to the Seahawks offense, and they forgot. They forgot about it.
They're like, oh yeah, this is how. Yeah, because Geno Smith was far and away their leading rusher with 72 yards.
Yeah. I mean, they had Walker involved in the passing game, but like, one of these takes pressure off Geno, all that shit. Just give it to Kenneth Walker.
Yep. Oh yeah, Zach Taylor's not the friendliest of faces right now with Cincinnati.
I've never heard this. Mm-hmm. He's in the shower, but sits down first.
Let's go right down the drain. That's it. Change my pick from Green Bay to San Fran. Aaron Jones has that hip issue. I didn't see if it was more significant after that. I don't know if they labeled it anything. Let's see if there's any update. Latest news. I don't see anything. Yeah, he had a hip injury. That's all.
Yeah, they'll update us later on.
Yeah, he's just ruled out, so I don't know. I don't know if there's anything there. Hey, get Perna to the parade. That's right. We're gonna get him there. And then speaking of the Cardinals, because I do want to talk about the Cardinals.
No, Sean.
Give them some respect. Kyler Murray, man, that one run was absolutely insane. And he wasn't even their leading rusher. James Conner's just so effing good. I'm so glad that like he has had this great career with the Cardinals, you know, after Pittsburgh and stuff. But 19 for 30, 195, 1 TD, 1 interception, also ran for a touchdown as well. Murray, man, can be explosive. And Marvin Harrison Jr., only 2 receptions. And like, again, the Cardinals are not, they definitely have some gaps in their team. They're secondary. You look at definitely they need some more weapons on offense and stuff. But this could be fun. Like, this could be a Cardinals team that is very competitive. I picked this year for them to be like my dark horse. Maybe they can make the wild card. And I still think they need some more talent, but I think the foundation is there. Like, you can win with Kyler Murray. And I think, you know, building that support around him, dude, I know the 49ers are injured right now and they're banged up and they need to get healthy quick. But I'm very happy for the Cardinals. It's nice to see them do well.
Yeah. I think
yeah, it's true.
I just need to see them, and it's weird because the 49ers are a good team. And you want to credit the Cardinals defense in the second half of that game. And I think like we need to see Arizona's defense be consistently good and keep them in games. I don't know who they are yet. There's a lot of teams I don't really know who they are. I don't know who the Cardinals are. I don't know who the Giants are yet. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they were 0-4. Now they are not. They are no longer the only winless team. Tank Bigsby.
Good number one for now.
Had a great game. Brian Thomas Jr. He is looking like
on Trevor Lawrence's 25th birthday, by the way.
Maybe one of the best rookie receivers.
He's looking pretty good.
Oh, yeah. How old is Trevor Lawrence?
25.
25, Trev. Happy birthday.
Let's just wait.
You got to win.
Season.
What the hell?
Let's just wait. Just wait.
Oh, yeah. But, like, think about Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors, Jane Daniels. They're all pretty good.
Yeah.
They're all pretty good.
That's the only point. I thought there was going to be I was like, all right, we're going wide receivers. And you're just like, rookies. Good. Yeah.
They were all on the same team.
Yeah.
They were all on the same team. And usually you're like...
Happy anniversary. Let's go.
You're like, oh, that receiver made that quarterback look better than he was. That quarterback made that receiver look better than he was because it was college. All from LSU. All just... ballers. Like all three of those guys were really, really freaking good, and they're all tearing it up right away. You don't see that a ton. So very cool. Very cool. And like, I don't watch film. I've made that very clear. I'm not a film guy. I will never be a film guy. But this offseason, since the Broncos were in the quarterback market heading into the draft, we looked at all the quarterbacks, right?
Sure.
Jaden Daniels, when I was watching LSU stuff, I was like, this Brian Thomas dude is very good. Like I knew going into it that like Malik Neighbors was their number one dude. He was going to be the guy drafted higher. But I was like, Brian Thomas is kind of insane, and it's cool to see him succeed. Even while the Jags have been losing, Brian Thomas has been pretty good and put together a nice game. Glad to see the Jags get a win.
2 minutes ago, sorry, Bengals. Dax Hill is feared to have torn his ACL and is likely going to be out for the season.
That sucks.
Oh man. All right. Well, yeah, that's not gonna help the secondary at all. That sucks, man. That's 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, I think.
Sorry, Tank. Sorry.
We're talking a lot about like Devontae Adams trade. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, they played together at LSU, right?
Yep. They get New York.
So Washington, I think you need to trade for Brian Thomas or Malik Neighbors. Figure out a way to get Jaden
Just
Daniels.
figure that out. It's fine.
Yeah. With Terry McLaurin. Got to get him one of those guys. Get him one of those guys.
Bro, it's wild. And I do want to talk about this game. We were talking about the Jacksonville game. Literally, it's been 10 years. I picked the Jaguars to win this week to get their first win because it's been 10 years since the Colts have won in Jacksonville and because the Jaguars looked pretty damn good last week. Like they went toe-to-toe with the Strouds, and I definitely want to talk about that Bills game because, I got feelings on that one. But the Jaguars, this is something that you go, okay, now they finally got the win. They're not winless anymore. This is what you hope they can build upon. Last week, they looked pretty good. Losing effort, CJ Stroud, game-winning drive. This week, they're able to knock off the Colts. It's not the prettiest of games, right? Still a close game at the end. Indianapolis scored 24 in that fourth quarter. Joe Flacco, man. And again, it's the way they talk about him, too, because I was watching that on Red Zone. They're like, oh, the old gray beard. He is 39 years old. And we are just like, he is a walking crypt. He is nearly dead.
Yes.
But, dude, for him, I am so happy for Joe Flacco. And it's come up again where it's like, okay, if he can do this to go and have the success he did with Cleveland last year, and then to be a backup again, and to have a fantastic game. Like, that's a great game against the Jaguars.
Yeah.
it's like, bro, he can be a starter. Like, he can still start somewhere and win you football games.
I mean, he can be a starter and also lose you football games.
That's true too.
No, I think that's the Colts defense. I think there's some issues there, but like, yeah, if you would have told me Flacco was going to go in this game, throw for 359 and 3 TDs, rush for 22 yards, 21 of those rushing yards coming on one single glorious rip, I would have said, oh yeah, they're going to win, but they didn't. Trevor Lawrence had finally a complete game. But yeah, it's just like, I don't know who the Colts are. Speaking of teams I don't know, I don't know who they are either yet. What do they do when Anthony Richardson's healthy? Like, it's a tricky thing to see your quarterback play this well and then go, you know what, we should go back to our rookie.
Yeah.
And we really do need to develop Anthony Richardson. And
there's no Jonathan Taylor, by the way, too. Like, you look at their run game, it was not great. You know, when Joe Flacco is...
If he comes into the...
When he's in 16 yards away from tying your leading rusher, it's not great.
You don't want to be in that spot.
Not ideal. So, like, I got to give the Colts, like, a little bit of lax here. Again, their defense is not great. But they didn't have Jonathan Taylor. They have a lot of trouble winning in Jacksonville for the past decade. But... this is now, they're sitting at 2-3. The Titans exist, right? The Jaguars are 1-4. That AFC South is a very interesting division right now. And the Jaguars aren't out of it, but this is what you want to see if you're a Jaguars fan of, like, hopefully you can build as things go forward. You got it.
We'll see. It'll be interesting. We'll see what Shane Steichen does. You know what team is bad? Very bad.
Let's talk about them.
Dead are those Browns. Them Brownies are down bad. Browns fans are asking if they can come over and join the Broncos bandwagon.
Trying to make a play, Doc. So
that's how bad Cleveland's got.
I know. Now. Listen, we just had talk about super chats. Yeah, I'm so sorry, Browns fans. It's gross. Now, I had a legit question that I got answered, and I made sure to follow up with that. Because it went on social media that, like, Deshaun Watson, like, gave up on his team, that, like, you know, they wanted to go for it on 4th down, and he just walked and took off his helmet and stuff like that. They had 12 men in the huddle, so they were going to have to burn a timeout regardless. So I just wanted to make sure that that wasn't being thrown in with the actual valid criticism of Deshaun Watson, because he's just, the offense is so inept.
Nah, we don't need that. He's a quitter. He gave up on his team. Get him out of there. He's added nothing to the Browns. He did nothing to help him win this game. We don't need to defend him. Sorry,
I was just saying, don't put that in
we
there.
don't need to defend him. Oh, let's make sure we get this correct with Deshaun Watson.
Well, yeah, because I want to make sure, because if we include a false statement, then
we don't forget who this man is.
Oh, I know. I'm very aware he sucks.
But here, what the great thing about this game, though, because he was bad again.
Oh, he's bad, yeah.
The Browns are bad. But it's like Jane Daniels looks human for the first time. He looked like he could be stopped.
Sure.
Not perfect.
Good defense.
1 fewer completions from Jane Daniels. But he was far more productive than Deshaun Watson. Also, 82 rushing yards. Like,
well, this was the
dude
test.
Has got it.
Well, this was the test, right? Because we were looking at the Browns defense and it was like, okay, their offense is garbage, but what is Jaden Daniels going to be able to do against a very good defense? And you got this answer, and it's like, oh, okay, I approve.
And there was, I believe, Terry McLaurin had a touchdown
Ravens
that he couldn't haul in too. It was like a great throw. I'm trying to remember it. Would have been a really nice catch, but he couldn't haul it in. So I think, he could have had 2 touchdowns on the day. But
it might be Bengals Ravens, could be Buccaneers Falcons. That's up there.
Here's what's really alarming if you're a Cleveland Browns fan. The Washington Commanders, their defense had not been good up until this game. They were, I think, bottom 5 or 6 in points allowed. They were giving up a ton of,
there you go,
I believe, passing yards every game. Now, part of that's, because teams are trying to keep up with them a little bit. But, like, if you're looking at the Commanders, you're like, okay, this is the thing that might bite them in the ass.
Yeah.
When is defense going to start to click? might have clicked against the Browns, or the Browns offense might really be that bad with Watson calling the shots. I don't know how, and I know Stefanski doubled down saying, Deshaun Watson's our quarterback. We're not going to be making a change of quarterback. You lose another game though, like maybe you should. Maybe you should actually bench him and see what Jameis Winston gives you. He's not going to be perfect. He's going to throw you some interceptions, but he's also going to make some plays. Maybe give a little excitement to your offense. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Whoever plays the Lions gets their ass kicked the following week. That's just what happens.
Dude, the Lions do that. They were doing that all last year, right?
Yep, they're the curse. You're just like so tired afterwards. Like I don't want to do it no
Physically,
more.
they wear you. Yeah.
Hey, Brandon, I want to talk about a game.
What?
Let's talk about the Bills-Texans game.
No, let's not.
Let's talk about that because, first of all, it was a good game. It was an entertaining game. Figured it was going to be good. A nice matchup. 2 3-1 teams coming in. Okay, 2 things. One,
Bring me back to that.
Go Pack, go, baby. Let's go. Oh, I knew it was going to be a home game. Come on now. Receivers need to catch the ball. 1. 2, what the actual hell was that play calling at the end? It was so atrocious to throw that ball 3 times out of your own end zone and you got no timeouts. And instead of potentially just going into overtime, you're in, again, your own end zone. So best case scenario, you complete it and you move like 20 yards and maybe get a field goal range, but that's a big if.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, you stop the clock. Oh, wait, that's what happened. Worst case scenario, throw an interception, right? Get a safety. The potential for negative play is significant. And instead of sending that into overtime, they give the ball back because it's 3 straight incompletions. Yeah. And the Texans go, okay. And then they go and they kick their game-winning field goal.
Yeah.
Bro.
I get it. I get the criticism there, and I don't disagree with it. It's just...
This is the kind of stuff that you have like Josh Allen as your quarterback, all that great stuff, and win you lots of football games. But this is also what like set, and again, it's week 5. Like I'm not panicking or anything like that or making any grand statements about the Bills. But this is the kind of thing that separates like, wins from losses in this league.
Yeah. And
Josh Allen completed 9 passes yesterday.
Yeah, I think he had one of the lowest like completion percentages for a quarterback throwing over 25 passes or some shit like ever. There's lots of bad stats out there for Josh. Wasn't working.
No.
And the problem is it's the second week in a row for the Bills. And the Bills through the first 3 weeks look like the best team in the NFL. And now they look tragically flawed. We were going to put out after their 3rd win, Will and I were talking about whether we should do this Chiefs are boring episode or an episode about why we think the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl or get to the Super Bowl this year. And we didn't do the Bills one.
That's good.
We didn't do the Bills one. It's not looking good.
Dude.
Yeah, it's just like, Khalil Shakir didn't play. And I think it's not like he's this insane receiver, but I think their offense is a little better with him on the field. They looked so good. And then they just got worked. Maybe the Texans defense is starting to really figure it out, and they're going to be...
And they didn't have Mixon.
A story moving forward. Diggs had a nice game.
Yep.
Against his old team, obviously.
Bring out the dagger.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was also, holy God, that was scary, Kevin. So you just put this in here. So Allen goes down, and when the play was happening, because I was watching on Red Zone, he gets hit, and I was like, oh, he looks like the camera cut away, but it looked like he came down hard. And then they showed his head bouncing off the damn field, and he looked like he was out. Like he was, it didn't look like there was anything there. And then he got cleared. Like, I was like, oh, okay. So again, you got to hope, because Justin Fields, like, he took a shot yesterday too during that game, and it looks like he was going to continue. Then they pulled him out of the huddle, and they're like, no, we got to send in Kyle Allen for a little bit and make sure that you're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there was four
was
quarterbacks did that. So Allen,
yeah,
because then he was going to go to he went to the tent or whatever. He came back out. So Josh Allen, you mentioned Fields. Aaron Rodgers got pretzeled. His leg got pretzeled. He was going to go to the tent, but then Sam Darnold threw that pick, and Aaron rushed back out of the field and had like his most impressive drive of the game. They couldn't answer with a touchdown. They settled for a field goal. But and also Sam Darnold took a nasty shot in that game, like to the ribs, to the mid body region.
Wild.
He goes out for one play. You're like, oh man, he might be out. Like they got to check on him. Nick Mullins comes in. They take a deep shot with Mullins. He completes it.
Yep.
And then Darnold back out there. And unfortunately, Sam Darnold came right back in and pitched it. And the Vikings, I think Ty Chandler fumbled it. And it was, not on Darnold. But yeah, 4 quarterbacks, you're like, oh, they might be really hurt. And then they're back immediately.
I think this is only if you make contact with the opposing player, if I'm not mistaken, right? Because it's a safety thing. I thought it was
leverage penalty for pushing off teammate deep over the center.
I thought it's so you can't make contact with the opposing team, like if you're trying to like hurdle over them.
Yeah,
like for a block.
You can't do that because the Raiders were penalized for trying to jump over the center, and they touched him in the Broncos game. I think you cannot use a player for leverage. I think that's true. You can't use your own player to try and hop over. You have to do it clean. I think you're right, Mike. It's so weird. It's like you only see those examples, like infrequently, and then you forget what the actual rule is.
Darnold didn't even have his best game. Well, Darnold didn't even have his best game this Sunday.
He didn't throw a touchdown, and they won.
Yeah, but no, Mayfield's that's a different beast. Hey, shout out to the Dolphins getting that win against the Patriots. What a garbage game! What an atrocious game. That was just offensive to my eyes.
There you go, Miami. Yeah. You made it.
They did it, though.
Maybe you'll be better when Tua gets back.
How many of the logo shirts do you have of Rachel's? Oh, no. Oh, no. That's never... When he leaves the seat, it's never good. Never a good thing. Not good. Here we go. Oh, my God. All right.
I don't know, Rachel.
That's true.
How many do I have? I got a whole shipment of them.
I just realized you're wearing the Raiders one. I didn't even realize what you were wearing.
No, it's the cursed black team.
This is Raiders. Yep, there's that.
No, these are not affiliated with anything, Tom. I got them all. I got all the cursed.
Showing off your nice shirts.
Mm-hmm.
Which one's your favorite?
Honestly, it's the crying elf. The crying elf. We're the best bakers in Tampa.
That's fair. That's fair. Last game I do want to talk about before we preview tonight's game real quick. Bears, Panthers. Panthers, nothing I could say is going to make you feel good. I'm sorry. Caleb Williams, though, 20 for 29, 304 yards, 2 TDs, only sacked 1 time. They had 128 yards rushing, 73 coming from Swift, also had a touchdown. DJ Moore took off. We mentioned this before, but again, got to keep like some level-headedness because it is the Panthers, and the Panthers are not a good football team this year. Which, sorry, Raiders, but they're not a good football team. This is the kind of progress that you want to see from Caleb Williams. Because he's looking more comfortable.
Yeah.
And I'm curious because their next few games, they're playing the Jaguars in London on Sunday. Oh,
the Bears?
All right. Yeah, that's a very winnable game. That's going to be but it's their defense is also keeping them in games because their defense is just really damn good right now.
Yeah, Bears defense is nice.
So
it's
not dangerous.
Nice.
So, Bears fans, the optimism is starting to rise bit by bit by bit. White corner. Oh, yeah. Did you get community noted?
Yeah. I got community noted for being, for exaggerating a little bit. Yeah. Dear God, I didn't specifically say Actually, Jason Sehorn got a pick in 2002 because I said
Why
it's
not?
the first white corner interception of the millennium.
Yeah, there's 12 men on the
Been
field.
22
That's
years.
why.
Thank
He
you,
just
community
sucks.
notes.
Yeah. He sucks, but that wasn't the issue. That wasn't the issue. But yeah, I didn't realize Ian just retweeted that too and was just like 10 million. I just didn't know because I saw that clip on social media from the early slate, and then I was streaming, and I was like, "Is that real? Like, did he really like walk?" Because at that point, then it's like, "Oh, I think Tree retweeted it too," and it's like, "If this is true, you bench him." And so I was just curious, and they're like, "No, they had 12 men." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So he just sucks. Like, it's just what. Well, to be clear, he just sucks then. So, I'm just saying. Yeah, tonight's game could be interesting.
I feel good about the Saints winning because the Chiefs. Well, actually, are the Chiefs still immune to the curse?
That's what we really need to see. Because they got cursed.
Are the Saints immune to El Curso?
Best division in the league, baby. Let's go. Best division in the league right now. All our teams are above 500. That's it. Come on.
Dude, yeah. Broncos and Packers, both 3-2.
Yes, they
Very
are.
different teams, but...
Very different teams.
Hey, I'll take it.
Hey, that's it. That's it. Exactly. They could do it. Do you think the Saints are actually going to win tonight?
I think they have a very good chance of winning. The Chiefs are 4-0, but like they haven't dominated any of their games.
Their defense dominates. Like their defense plays really well. Like their defense dominated the injured Chargers. Yeah, I'm curious to see what that offense is going to look like. I imagine Travis Kelce is going to be their leading receiver.
You would think.
I would assume so.
You know. They beat the Ravens 27-20. They beat the Bengals 26-25. The Falcons 22-17. And the Chargers 17-10. So I think the Saints...
Too many spots.
I think that if the game is close, the Chiefs win. The Saints gotta score a couple of their big touchdowns like we saw them do when they won those first two games.
Not great.
Whether that's a shot from Carr to Olave or Rashid Shaheed or Alvin Kamara from week 2 when he just who did the Saints destroy week 2 where Kamara just like went on an absolute tear.
Cowboys.
Yeah, it's the Cowboys. Is Kamara healthy? What do we got here? Yeah, Kamara had 115 rushing yards in that game and 65 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns. Just
if Kamara does well tonight, this could be good. But again, the Chiefs' defenses have been just like really damn good. It's one of the reasons why they won a Super Bowl. So their offense can have a little leeway, but they're going up against a good defense and an offense that has the potential to be good. I'm just concerned about the Saints because after those first 2 weeks, and you're like, oh crap, they've kind of come back down to earth a little bit.
Yeah. And the Saints offensive line those first 2 weeks was a story. It was playing pretty well. So, they gotta shut down Chris Jones.
Bad sports.
Who's this? That's
bad sports.
No, it is bad. Look at that red. Look at that ugly Chiefs red. I prefer the Falcons red. Oh, yeah. I don't know if Taysom Hill's playing. Didn't he break his ribs?
Pick TJ Watt for the Steelers. Who do we pick for the Raiders? Max Crosby? I guess?
Yeah, Watt and Crosby. I think, easy.
His eyebrows are too great. They can't. Matt LaFleur. And again, the Rams are also hurt to hell. Listen, all the respect to Stafford, man. Stafford's a damn good quarterback. And the Rams are just they're a beat up football team.
Taysom Hill is out, guys. Yeah. Out.
That's a big loss. Big loss. So, yeah, I'm sorry. It's not good, Patriots. And again, it's just at some point you're going to make the shift, whether it's next week or whenever, that it's like, all right, now it's time to evaluate talent and see what Drake May can do, knowing that offensive line is awful, knowing that offense needs a lot of talent to be injected into that team. But you just got to see. Hey, this should actually be a really fun game. I'm not going to lie.
Cardinals, Packers?
Yeah, it's next week. That should be a fun game.
Might be a shootout.
Oh, it definitely could be. Definitely could be. Perna, what do you got coming out, buddy?
you can go check out the new. Oh my God, I think the Broncos are good.
There you go.
The new best game ever.
There we
Posted
go.
it at midnight last night, so go check it.
Today, if the NFL was scripted week 5, God, it's gonna be a doozy of an episode. Streaming tonight, of course, because why not? The second Monday game that I'm streaming.
Yeah.
And then every NFL fan's reaction to week 5 gonna be coming out tonight.
Nice.
We're gonna do it. Oh yeah, Perna. That's a. You know what? Thank you. Let's get this out of the way right now. What are you doing this year, Perna? Are teams on the bye week? Are they gonna appear on the power rankings? Are the Lions gonna be on there?
The Lions will not be on the power rankings Wednesday because they did not play this week.
So hold on.
I originally did it.
I would like you to say, if a team is on a bye, they will not appear on the power rankings this year.
I'm not going to say that.
Brandon,
why would I make a definitive statement?
Because there has to be some consistency.
I've been consistent. That's how I always did it.
That is a lie.
I always did it.
That is not true. So the Lions are not on there. So you're not going to put teams that are on a bye week on the power rankings this year, right?
Correct.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
Correct.
I know. I'm trying to get him to say it so I could have a clip, so I could just point to something and you'd be like, no, I didn't do this. I want something. I gotta hold on to something. There needs to be a foundation. But folks, I appreciate you. Inconsistency is a form of consistency. Well, that's on me then. But folks, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later tonight. I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna. This is GPS. And you have been navigated. What?